All right, let's finish up the application we started here. I'm going to now add the logic for when the user clicked a button. So in my controller M, for the button click, one of the first things we have to do is actually create a model object, which we haven't created yet. So I'm going to just go ahead and make this I'm going to include it in the controller. So I'm going to go ahead and import my actually lucky numbers into the controller, and then I'm going to create an instance of lucky numbers as a private instance variable. And then I'm going to actually create this a lucky numbers object programmatically when my controller is de-archived out of the nib file. And the way you can do this is you can override awake from nib. So awake from nib is going to guaranteed to be called after the object has been deserialized from the nib file. So at this point is when I'm going to go ahead and create my new lucky numbers object. So I'm going to go ahead and alloc and init with max, and I'm going to use a max 49. Now right now I'm kind of hardwiring this. If you remember in the zip file, I'm just going to assume that the initial maximum value is 49. So this is a little bit of a hack. I should probably set this some other way, but I know right now that I'm just going to be consistent with what's in the nib file. So, so I'm going to go ahead and create a new lucky numbers object. Now, given that, I need to be able to set the titles on all the buttons with the proper lucky numbers. So let's go ahead. I'm going to create a method to do that, and I'll say set button titles. So what I'm going to do is I'll do this the ugly way. So I'm going to say set title. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a string, and I'm going to use string with format, and go ahead and just say %d, and I'm going to take my lucky numbers and fetch the ith number, and so that'll set the first button title, right? And that's going to be 0. And let's see, why is this complaining at me? Because I'm there we go. All right, just had to have enough parentheses there. So we're good to go there. So this is kind of an ugly way to do this, but I'm going to use good old cut and paste to do this for each of my buttons. Maybe more convenient to stick all these things into an array, but I'm going to go ahead and do it this way. And hopefully now let's go ahead and in my awake from nib, I'm just going to call, so after the numbers have been created, I'm going to call self set button titles, and let's give that a spin and see what happens.
Okay, one more time.
So now when the app starts, yes, we should see a new set of numbers. Now we haven't done anything when we actually click on these things. So let's go ahead and, well, we could go ahead and implement the pick button. That's fairly easy at this point. So the pick all buttons clicked. So so in this particular case, I'm just going to say lucky numbers. I'm going to say pick all new numbers. And in this case, call self set button titles. And that should be off and running. Let's try that. No, so I picked, now look at that. I get a whole new set of lucky numbers. So now I want to implement just picking one new lucky number. So go ahead and quit the app. And so in button clicked, we'll use the tag to figure out which button was actually clicked. So we'll use the tag. So I'm going to call lucky numbers, and pick number and use the tag. And then I just need to set the, my sender happens to be the button that did this, so I'm just going to call set title directly, and I'm going to use my inner string method again. String with format percent %d and lucky numbers number tag close, and that should be it. So what we'll do is we'll pick the new lucky number and then reset the title to that. Let's try that out. Give that a spin. And sure enough, all right, very good. Good, so we can pick all new numbers or we can pick an individual new number. All right, great. Now let's go ahead and handle the level selected. So there's actually two levels in our nib file that we need to distinguish between the 49 and the 56. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to set the tag on those. So I'm going to go and find, actually it's probably easier to find it over here. So these two buttons, these radio buttons, are actually inside a matrix. So, and right, and so you can see that that's the left one, that's the right one. And I don't know what this other button saw. That must be the, yeah, let's try this. So I'm going to set the tag for, yeah, okay, so it looks like this is the button. So, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set the tag for this one to 49, and I'm going to set the tag for this one to 56. And let's try that out. So I'm going to go ahead and save that, go back to my controller, and on level selected, I'm going to go ahead and just for now, let's go ahead and just take a look at the tag. So I'm going to say tag equals sender select. I think it's going to be selected cell, and actually selected cell, and then I'm going to look at this tag. And let's go ahead and print that out. And just let's see what we get if we print the tag there. I'm going to try that out. Just log it to the debugger. And okay, 5649, perfect. That's exactly what we want. All right, so now what I want to go ahead and do is what I wanted, only if the tag, if that is different, so what I want to do, if tag is not the same as the current max value, then that means I got a new max value. So I'm going to go ahead and set the new max value with the tag, and then I'm going to tell it to pick all new numbers. Actually, our set max already does that. So really, all I need to do at this point is call set button titles, and that should do the trick. Let's try it out. Try and run it. So now when I pick here, yes, and now I should get some numbers bigger than 59. Yeah, and I am. So yeah, there's 50 bigger than 49. So yeah, so it seems to be working okay. Right? If I change to 49, notice all the values should be between 1 and 49. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop there. There's other things left to do on this particular app. Maybe I'll make another video later about that. But one of the things we can do is go into the editor for the project and actually create an icon for this. And we can, another thing we could do into the nib file is we could actually edit the menu items to do something as well. I'm kind of ignoring the menu right now. So anyway, but for right now, I'm going to leave it at that.